Hello and welcome to Queen Talk. Here, I'll be your host, Kelly from Kelly Connections. You can find me on every platform as Kelly Connections, so definitely check us out. I have Lady Crystal here, Lady Curves for Life, or Curves for Now, as we like to say, and Lady Iris. I'll let them introduce themselves, and they'll also be able to tell you where you can find them and give out your handles. Start with you, Crystal.
Hi, my name is Chris. On my handles, it's Chris Kels underscore 24. Can't get it wrong on everything. But yeah, I'm Chris. Nice to meet you guys.
Curves.
Hello. I'm Curse for Life, just on Instagram. I also have Gigi Real Talk, Gigi Real Talk on YouTube as well. Let's have some fun, ladies.
Have some fun. Lady Iris.
Yes. Hi. My name is Iris, or Lady Iris, as Kelly likes to call me, and you can find me on Instagram at IrisBlooms29.
Yes. And thank you for joining us. Today, we would actually like to, I'm so sorry. I forgot to welcome you all to the Queen's Court, obviously. Welcome to the Queen's Court. Today, we would like to talk about something. Ah, we got another queen. Today, we'd like to talk about something. We kind of wanted to start the year off right. Our last live, we talked about doing a dream board, and we wanted to talk about how to make a proper dream board, how to make it most effective, because we don't just want to sit and have conversations. We also want to influence and inspire people to be better and grow. So, how else to do that without, except for starting a actual dream board and a vision board and putting out your vision and making it plain. So Curves for Life actually just made one and it was incredible. So we're going to actually have her lead this discussion and we're just going to chime in. If you have questions for us, you can let us know, but I'll let you take it from here. You can tell us about your dream board, like what inspires you to make it. Can you start there?
Yeah, so for me, I would say about 2 years ago, I started like taking the whole dream board thing seriously. And what I do personally is just pretty much before I go into the steps, what your question was pretty much how did it bring, like what brought me there? It just pretty much inspired me is pretty much just wanting something different and wanting to have something to look forward to, something to reference back to be like, hey, this is what I said I wanted. I'm seeing this actually happen, or seeing if it's not happening. So for me, that's what I wanted. And this year was different. Like last year, my dream board was really great. And it's really cool when you see what you put on your dream board is actually like happening, and you get to actually see like it come to life, and you're like, wow, this is what I wanted, and I'm actually like seeing it happen. And so this year, I normally do my own dream board, but this year specifically, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to involve my son, and we split the dream board in half, and half was him, and I let him, because he's a part of my life, so big part. So definitely wanted him to be able to put down what his dreams are and what he wants, and I wanted to do the same for myself because our lives are combined, and he's old enough to know what he wants and be able to contribute his own thoughts. So that is what the goal was for this year. But so there's just a few steps. I really feel like as far as dream boards go, it's custom. It's you make it what you want. It's called a dream board. So whatever your dream looks like, that's what it needs to be on your dream board. But if you could structure it a certain kind of way, I would say the first step for me was like just dream it up. And don't short yourself on this. Like when I say dream it up, dream big. What kind of car you want, how you want your house to look, what you want your life to look like. And then the second thing would be to envision it. And when you envision it, like really get specific, because sometimes we're just like, oh, I want a nice car. Okay, well, what kind of car? What year, what color, what you want the interior to look like is very important to be very specific, because when you're very specific, without me getting too spiritual, the more specific you get, the closer God can meet you there. So the more clear you get, tons of people are like, oh, I want money, I want this, I want that. Okay, well, why do you want the money? How do you want it to come? So like the more you go into depth, the more you explain, or the more detailed you get about what you want, how the more clear you can get, the more I feel like he can get you there. Because when I got more clear about it, it happened. And like sometimes I just go back and I look and I like read in my journal, or I look at my dream board and I'm like, oh my gosh, I said I wanted this SUV, and like now I have an SUV. Or I'm like, I said I wanted this, and I'm like, okay, now I have this. Or I wanted a job that paid me this much, and like now I'm actually like, so it's like when you get to live out what you put down, it's really a beautiful thing. And also, I would say get pictures when it comes to the dream boards. You're going to want to go online, find pictures, because if you really, after you visualize it, envision it in your own head, you want to try to get pictures to like, so you can see it every single day. Because it's something about having a picture of something that really like, it really helps you drive you to that goal. Even when people are like in weight loss and certain things, like if you have a picture, you're like, yes, like I got this. Like you can see it every day. It feels more tangible. So I would say get pictures. Make sure you put pictures of what you want: the car, the house, the husband, the ring, the vacations, whatever that may look like, because we all have, like, everything looks different. So and just be honest with yourself, be very clear about it. And also, like, I would say meditate. I'm without getting too spiritual, I believe in not just praying, but meditating on what you want, and really going into what they call 4D prayer, is when you're actually like closing your eyes and you're not just praying about it, but you're actually meditating on it. You're acting as if it's already there and it's already happening. So it just puts you it puts you closer to it, in my opinion. So yeah, and I just say do that daily until you see it happen. So that's all I got on the dream board. I don't know if you ladies did a dream board this year or what you think about it, but that's just me.
So can I ask a few questions?
Sure, go for it.
Is this something you made last year and you're now seeing the benefits of it this year?
Yes.
Okay. Was there anything like you could share? I don't want you to get too personal, that you maybe put on your dream board and how it looked and then how it came into full fruition.
Yes. So like, one, I wanted to make a certain amount, and 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 I didn't really know if it was gonna happen. I was kind of just like writing a number. I was like, "Ooh, it'd be so cool." But if I could be honest and completely transparent, I didn't go to college. So when you don't go to school, sometimes you don't know if you're gonna make a certain amount of money in what you're doing. So it just so happened that, I'm making what I want to make. I was able to get like a newer SUV that I was in a little car. I got hit. I got in a car accident 2 years ago, and like, I really waited a while to get a car. And I just wanted an SUV, and I wanted a newer one. I didn't want no hoopty that backfired, and I wanted to increase my credit, and that happened. So it's just certain things that I wanted, and it happened. I wanted a healthy relationship. So it just seems like everything that I kind of wanted is slowly starting to happen for me. And yeah, so it's really cool when you write it down and you get to see, oh, this is what I want, and wow, it's actually happening. So that's why it's important to write it down. And then it helps you be more thankful, because sometimes I think it's easy for us to get to certain places, and then we forget that, like, sometimes we're living the prayer that we asked for. Like, you forget, because like you prayed for so long. Like, I remember, I mean, we're all family. Like, we lived in the ghetto for a very long time, and then we finally got to a place where we were living in a better space. And I think sometimes what can happen is people can forget, and I'm not saying we ever did that. We remember where we came from, but sometimes people can for not really appreciate it. So sometimes, like, when you have it written down, you're like, wow, like, I really did that. And it can humble you, it can make you um just be appreciative to where you're at currently.
Mhm. I agree with that. I also I looked up, how to make a proper dream board when we were kind of doing research for the show, and I was trying to kind of figure out what the purpose of a dream board was. And I know that a few things I read, they said it helps you stay on track. it helps you stay focused because it's so easy to get distracted in this life. And it's like, oh, you could have like a 3 month goal, a 6 month goal, a year goal. And sometimes 3 months you can get distracted and you can't get to your year goal. So it's like it gives you a nudge in the right direction. It helps redirect you back to what you actually, sometimes you can get in a relationship, you can meet new friends, life circumstances can happen, and you can just get thrown off track of what you wanted for yourself. And it's so hard. It's so easy to put yourself on the back burner, especially if you start like a new relationship or something. Like, do you still have those same dreams and goals? And I know we grow and our dreams and goals change, but I think that what you really want, it always stays inside of you. And then you can end up resenting something that pushed you away from your goals. So I thought that was really powerful. They said it's a really powerful tool to help you stay on track. So you just look at the board and you're like, okay, I remember. Let's get back there. So I am going to be making one this year. Did any of you ladies have any questions for Curves or any thoughts?
Well, I just had a few notes to add. I did a dream board when I was like a teenager. Our dad was really big on, making sure that we had our vision in place. So for me, you might want to turn on the feed. So for me, I think that it was really good as a young person to see. Someone might need to mute their mic. I'm hearing reverb. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm sorry about that, guys. So
We don't hear it. You can keep going.
Okay. So I thought it was really great. My dad didn't just do dream boards, but he would put his vision all over the house. The house would almost be a dream board. And at the time, it didn't make sense to me. I mean, he'd have poster boards all over the house. He'd have signs, and there was a motivational speaker / minister that he'd listen to named Dr. Mike Murdoch, and Chris can quote him way better than I. So if I quote this wrong, please correct me. But he would say that you need to make sure you do everything you can, or pay any amount of money if you have it, to make sure you can inspire yourself. And I think that connects with the dream board. So my dad took that very seriously and made sure he posted all around the house, where he wanted to see the family go. He wanted healthy relationships throughout the family. He wanted to see us become prosperous, confident women, thriving in this world. He wanted, the marriage between my mother and his to thrive and flourish. So he'd have, pictures of happy couples. He'd have pictures of happy, healthy families. He also wanted to make sure he left generational wealth, and he was focused on this before it was a popular thing to say and trending online. But he always had visions of the future and what it took to get there. So it was always inspiring to see how he was always moving towards that goal, even if it was baby steps. And I just wanted to encourage you all. I mean, it is a blessing that Curves, did a dream board, and most of the things on her dream board came to pass immediately. But not all things in life. Some great things take time. Let's say if you've been working on, let's say your health journey, and maybe you're over 300 pounds, it might take you a little bit longer than a year. And that's okay. You just kind of continue that goal, or maybe put the next step to your goal. So don't be discouraged if your goal doesn't, you don't meet it immediately within that year. I think that a lot of things that we choose for our New Year's, resolution or dream boards are things that that can improve our life or improve our quality of life. So that just shouldn't have like a time frame where you say, oh no, the clocks ran out. Some of them you might complete within a year, but some might drag on to the next year, and that's okay too. But I did want to encourage those that are like really big on, being online. I know a lot of people do dream boards on certain platforms like Pinterest. So, or they'll collect art or free clip art online, and they'll create their vision board somewhere online. Or I love using Canva. That's like one of my favorite platforms to use. Not doing a plug for them, just love it. So if you can't find like all the pictures that you want in magazines that are at a lot of people don't even order magazines anymore. But if you can't get them at their local library, if you don't want to go spend $20 to get it, you can get clip art online, and you could find just about anything that you're dreaming of, or at least something close to it online, and create your poster board or your virtual poster board that way. So don't put any limitations on yourself if you're like on a budget. And like Curve said, I thought it was beautifully said, just make sure you dream big. And it is really neat to see the dream out there, because sometimes, even if it's like you're saving for a house, depending on how the market is, it might not happen overnight. But when it does happen, it is beautiful to go back to, whether it's your goals, or maybe it's that dream board, or we were talking about the New Year's resolution. It is really nice. I keep journals going back, 5-10 years, and like Curve said, living in that dream or that prayer. It is something that kind of, it's humbling, if you actually take a moment to reflect. And it is so easy to push past points in our life. I remember I saw the lady Priscilla Shire. If you haven't seen the movie War Room or seen one of her teaching, she's a phenomenal teacher. But we saw her in person one time, and she made a good point. She said it's so easy in life for us to push past, where we are, and forget to be present, and enjoying, the family, or even you're like, oh, I can't wait for my kids to grow up and move out the house, or I can't wait for my kid to be out of diapers, I can't wait for this and that. And then sometimes we forget to really just appreciate that moment, or that stage that we're in or they're in. How about some women are rushing through, I just can't wait to get married, just can't wait to get married. And marriage is a beautiful thing, relationships are a beautiful thing, but sometimes they forget the joy of just being single. They forget the joy of, because when you do get when you do get married, you'll see your married friends will reach out to single friends like, how's single life, girlfriend? Oh my gosh, you can just do whatever you want, right? And it's funny, when you're single, you're longing to be at another stage. So sometimes it's really, really important just to enjoy where you're at, cherish that moment, because you will get to those other stages, and then sometimes you might be longing for the past or longing for the future. But I do think, like the quotes say, the present is a gift, and we need to appreciate it. Just like I'm enjoying this moment, just being on this panel with these ladies, and just hearing the wisdom that they've acquired, or hearing the testimony, the story that they've received from their dream boards. It encourages me, so be present and enjoy where you are. Even just enjoy the journey of moving towards that dream board, what you're seeing every day. If it's for you, it's getting healthy this year, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so far away from that 50 pounds I want to lose. Okay, but you know what? You're getting up every day this week and you're working out, and that's cool too. Maybe you're meeting some new friends at the gym. Who knows? Maybe one of you might be getting healthy and you meet the guy of your dreams,
Oh,
because you got out.
Future husband is lifting right beside you.
Exactly, exactly. But if you never got out and you didn't start that journey, you'd have never been there. Or just enjoy the moment of, after a long day of work or before work, that's your way of just kind of defragging. And you're enjoying walking on the treadmill, you're listening to your music. Just be in that moment, and enjoy it, and appreciate where you are and how you are moving towards your goals. So that's all.
And just to piggyback off of Iris, my dad used to call that enjoying the process. And a lot of times we want to skip forward to the fun part. But when you take the time to look back after you've accomplished your goals, the process is where you really grow and learn how you became you. So if you take time and just enjoying the process you're going through in reaching your goal, you'll be able to enjoy life day by day, even though you haven't reached it yet. And, just to kind of follow up with what Grace was saying, a lot of times she will write lists of her goals, and then she'll go back probably like a year later or a few months later, like, wow, I accomplished that, and didn't even realize it. I've found that you can get similar results just from writing out lists and just speaking it every day. But one thing about the dream or the vision board is it's right in front of you. So you don't have to go and find that list. You don't have to be surprised because it's in your face every day. So it's easy to see it and visualize it and become it. If that makes sense. So I just want to say that, if you're a visual person, the vision board is wonderful. But if you're a person that you will remember to go back and look at your list every day, you can still visualize in your mind and speak those things every day. That's my 2 cents.
No, that's really good, because I mean, there's a scripture in the Bible, Habakkuk 2:2, that says, "Write down the vision and make it plain." So, writing it down, having the vision board, It's right in front of you, and it helps you stay on track and achieve it. And I do want to give a plug because we did have an extra queen that we invited, but she couldn't make it. She did give me some information because she just built a dream board. Her name is Toya Toy. She is like one of my sisters. But I wanted to tell you what she said, because she made a dream board last year, and she said pretty much everything she put on her dream board she accomplished in that year. Whether it was a vacation she wanted to go on, a certain amount of money she wanted to make, how she wanted her finances to look, her relationships to look, things that she wanted for her kids, and like everything was achieved. And she was so proud of herself. She's like, I'm doing another one this year. But she wrote this, I'm going to read it to you. She said, one of the most important things when doing a vision board is to also have an accountability partner where you can check in with them every quarter, just to see how you're doing so far and things that you may need to pick up the pace on. So there might be an area where you haven't yet worked on, and that person can push you towards that so that you can still achieve your goals in a time frame that you set. So having an accountability partner that is aware of your dream board. So I think that's a good tip. Thank you, Toya. I appreciate you adding on, even though you couldn't make it with us today. Does anyone else have anything else they'd like to add?
I think just so everybody knows, we'll definitely have to bring her on later on. I think she has just a beautiful story to tell. I think it's something that will inspire a lot of people, just to be encouraged that no matter where you're starting in your journey, not just towards your goals, but just in life, I think her story is pivotal. But if I could just step back, Crystal mentioned list, and I'm totally in agreement with her. My father did a study when we were younger, and I just remember him sharing this with many people growing up. But he noticed that after researching, reading, books and articles, and then I think he had found a study that said that the one thing, or the one common denominator between successful people, is that they wrote a list every day. And the power of a list, because when we were talking about the New Year's revolution, we were not only talking about just making sure we're setting up ourselves for a successful year, but what are we doing daily to make sure we're getting towards that goal? And I think Chris brought it back around by reminding us about the importance of what we're doing daily to get to that dream board. And I think, to me, I'm a person who loves applicable information and knowledge. I love to be inspired. I love to be encouraged, but how do I get to this inspirational moment to, executing and making sure I arrive at that moment? So I think the daily, and I think the accountability partner is helpful in this, the daily accountability, and also having a list every day to move towards that goal is helpful. And I remember our father challenged us to make sure, hey, why don't you write a list? And the seasons that I'm writing a daily list of what needs to be accomplished, and sometimes in my prior position, we were running events, rather large events, and some of them were back to back, and some of them were nightly, daily, and some of them were extremely impactful within that general community or outside of our community. So it's like, if I didn't have a running list, and sometimes my list would feel like literally 100 points, but if I wrote down what I needed to do, it was so helpful we'll go back to what we were saying, this vision board helps you stay on track. So I don't just want to stay on track long term for my goal, but I want to make sure I'm staying on track daily to get to that long term goal. So I feel like, the success is in the daily, our daily schedules and what we do. And that's another thing that Dr. Mike Murdock shared. So and I'm paraphrasing what he said, so I'll properly quote it next time. So if I could encourage everybody to, let's write out daily lists. Maybe you just start off with 3 points. I'm not trying to stress anybody out, but I know for me, when I had those multiple events going on, sometimes those 100 points assisted me in getting through all those. I think some of us need to mute. Assisting us through getting through all those various details, but I accomplished most of the things, if not all the things on the list daily. And it really helped me stay on track.
Oh, Iris, I think the quote you were thinking of is, the secret to your success is hidden in your daily routine.
Thank you. I knew you were going to remember.
Yeah.
Walking Dr. Mike.
Memorizing quotes.
I love quotes, especially Mike Murdock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does have amazing quotes. And I will say this, every millionaire that I've ever personally talked to, they have all said two things. One that you said and one that you said, Chris. They've said, number one, I always write a list. Number two, the best part about success was the process. It's like you look back and it's like, oh, I'm enjoying this, but it was really, the journey was really fun. The journey getting here was really fun. You think about the nights that you struggled to get to what you needed, and now we're here, and it's like I want to kind of go back and do it again. Because that's where the real work is. It's like building to get to what you want. When you arrive, it's like, okay, what do we do now? And I know I felt that way like when I was in school. I was like, it's every night you're on. You got to study, you got to test, you got to quiz, you got this. It's like, when is this going to be over? And then you're like, oh, I graduated. What do I do now? It's done. I got my degree. Especially with people who are like,
live my life.
Yeah. They like to keep going and keep moving. It's like, okay, what's the next?
I think
So like as humans, like we are wired for growth, which is why like depression typically comes like when you're not growing, when you're not doing, like that's why you feel so good when you're working towards something, because something and working towards the process, the growth, that's what we all need. And once you hit like, oh, someone's like, oh, I want to hit, this dollar amount, I want to get here. Once you hit that, you're like, oh, this is great. But then you have like the next goal you want to set. It's like, it's never enough. Like growth is literally just, that's how we're wired as human beings. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Good point, sis. I like that.
That's why every year you need a new vision, a new plan, because once you achieve those goals, you got to move on to the next thing, just to keep yourself moving and living and inspired.
Right.
Well, I think all you ladies had amazing additions to the conversation. I really appreciate it. We do have to wrap because we have something else coming up next. But I appreciate this evening, and I will see you soon. Thank you for joining us.
Bye. Bye, Queen.
Every other Sunday, we'll be here. So definitely join us. 7:30.
Pull up and chill with the queens.
Hey. Bye.